Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for iPad today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
Coming up, track your activity, your sleep, your weight, your life.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Plus, Instagram integration is everywhere, but watch out because EyeEm's coming for him. And the Microsoft Courier team is all over the App Store.
All of that and some more geofencing on iPad today.
iPad Today is brought to you by GoToMyPC. GoToMyPC apps are the missing link for remote access to turn your iPad and iPhone into your office computer. Visit GoToMyPC.com for your free 30-day trial. And don't forget to use the offer code iPad. And by Slingbox, which can turn your iPad into a television. With a new iPad app from Slingbox, you can watch your home TV on your iPad anywhere you go. Check it out at slingbox.com. We got a big show today. Holy cow.
We have so much stuff in the show, there's no way we'll get to all of it.
All right, well.
So sorry in advance.
This is one of those shows where Sarah, who produces the show, puts it all together, and I just go like this, and she even dubs in my voice. Sarah will be cutting as we go on this show.
That's right.
So
it's a live kill situation. It's very violent. You might not know what's going on. Sometimes we're typing in here. We're just killing stuff. Emails that you wrote us, apps we want to show off, dead.
In
because
real
we're
television,
time constraints.
In real television, where there's lots of people, right? Mm-hmm. This show, there's three of us: you, me, and some guy in the TD booth.
It's Chad.
And
there's actually four because Jeff Stewart edits it after.
And Jeff edits it.
Yeah.
So it's four.
But
in real television, there'd be twice as many people in the control room alone. And one of them would be what's called a line producer.
That's right.
And the line producer has in front of the line producer, and you were a very good line producer, would be sitting there looking.
I didn't like doing it, though, because it's stressful.
It's very stressful because you're looking at timing, you're watching the clock, because that's another thing we don't have to worry about. We don't have to fit an exact time.
Well, we take commercial breaks when we decide to.
Right.
In
and
TV,
it has to be 44
it has to
minutes.
happen in 43 seconds.
Yeah.
So wrap that call, Leo.
Yeah. So the line producer has a stopwatch, a clock, and is watching the rundown, and we'll literally just,
Yeah.
And then that's also the person who's saying, get him to rap. You better get him to rap. Rap now, Leo. Rap now. And, of course,
The key with Leo, because he doesn't really listen to other people, especially when he's talking about something he's interested in, is you'd say rap, hard rap.
Hard rap.
Then another hard rap, and then you're killing me.
You're killing me.
And that would usually get you to start feeling bad enough to say,
you're killing me.
Right. Well, thank you, John, for the great call. And by that time, we had killed four others.
I forgot about that, but this is absolutely, this is on Tech TV. This is God's truth. Did you ever have to do that?
I mean, probably.
Becky did it. Becky was the one who said, you're killing me. You're killing me.
Yeah. As a segment producer, Russ Pitts and I would just sort of yell at each other. Because he'd blame me, and I'd say, you rap him. That's your job.
And Russ Pitts just got a very good job going back to kind of doing what he was doing at Tech TV.
Yeah.
Which I can't remember what it is.
Well, it's SB Nation's new gaming. They don't have a name for that yet, right? It's just
the folks who do The Verge.
Yeah, it's the same
are
team.
Doing a gaming.
It's going to be a spin-off
site like The Verge for gaming, and Russ is going to be one of the people on that. And I think they're going to do video because The Verge is doing some great video.
I think those guys are knocking it out of the park.
They sure are.
But you know who else is knocking it out of the park? Nike. With the FuelBand.
I am so jealous. That's a FuelBand.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I don't know if we've even really talked about the FuelBand on this show much. Let's see, I'm at 2279. I need 3,000 for the day. No, this is fuel. But if you want to know how many steps I've taken, calories 529, that's kind of lame.
No, that's great.
But I've taken almost 10,000 steps.
Oh, that's huge.
Today.
What, did you run this morning or?
I was on the elliptical.
Oh. And it counts that. Because a lot of times these wrist
I
things
use
don't.
the elliptical that does this.
Yeah. Okay.
So the FuelBand is, I actually reviewed it for this week's Before You Buy.
Good. So if you want a full
review,
review.
Please do watch that because I go into detail of exactly how it works.
That's
kind of
the
accelerometer
the review show, and it's really a much more in-depth show.
Exactly.
But I've been very interested in this. You know, I bought the Nike Jawbone Up, which was similar, although ill-fated.
I had it too. It didn't work that well. It wasn't even.
They gave everybody their money back.
Didn't even have wireless sync.
Yeah, that was a problem. Now the Fitbit does that. You get near the Fitbit base unit, which is attached to your computer, and it automatically downloads. So these are basically pedometers times 1,000. They do measure your steps, but they have additional features. So Nike has decided that it's going to measure more than just steps. It's going to measure fuel. What is fuel?
So it's sort of an aggregate of calories, steps, how much I weigh, how old I am, how tall I am.
I see.
Because if you're a big person, you'll just burn
fuel.
more calories throughout the day because that's the way it goes.
Right.
So if I was, you and I, and the whole thing with this is it's supposed to be a social competing thing. On the app, for example, I'll show you in a second.
So then that's the key.
I can see how I rank among my Facebook friends.
So not only does it measure all this and show you on your bracelet, but it also syncs wirelessly, right? It has a USB connector, but it also does wireless.
Yeah, well, it kind of has a proprietary connects to USB on your computer type thing.
So there's no wireless?
But it connects via Bluetooth.
Oh, there is Bluetooth.
Yeah, to your app. In fact, I can sync right now. I'll show you.
So you press the button.
You press the button, and it says on my FuelBand. It'll say sync.
Sync, and so then it's giving data via Bluetooth to your iPad.
Nice.
You do. You're buff.
Well,
it's all that time going like this.
Kind of fat too. So once
that's not fat. When you have a lump here, that's not fat. That's a bicep.
Well,
if the lump were like here, that would be fat.
We're all big critics of ourselves. So I go ahead. So you see now that it's syncing my activity. I have to stop pointing with my middle finger.
You don't need to do that anymore. The nerve damage is over.
Well, it's not, but I'm healing. Sorry, my hand looks so disgusting still.
It looks like a cat bit you.
Hey,
what happened?
Real life. Well, you're pretty close.
Yeah.
So this is the app, and I don't want to focus too much on the FuelBand itself because, again, that's another review show. But the app is really nice. Now, this is an iPhone app, as you can note here, but it looks just fine on the iPad. And again, this is not high graphic stuff. It's mostly just statistics. You can see that I'm pretty close to my goal. That's something that I set for myself based on realistic activity, plus how much I've done through the day. My activity today versus my activity for a week. Anything that's green means I made my goal. I'm still not anywhere near my goal because it's Thursday and I've got the rest of the day. Over the month, I've done pretty well. Since the month started, there's only a couple days that I haven't met my goal. But what I
Where's the social part, though?
Here, I'll show you right now. Okay. In my Friends tab here, and I've already connected via Facebook, so that's something that you have to do. Mm-hmm. You can see my ranking based on other people who also have the FuelBand, obviously.
Daria's killing you.
Well, She's
got
not
a lot
that
of time.
far ahead of me.
Okay.
She's not even a whole day ahead of me, really. And then Matt Galligan is slightly ahead of me. But you can see these are all folks that I'm essentially competing with. Some people are taking it more seriously than others.
These
Look
are,
at MG.
by the way,
I mean, talk about a
slacker.
bump on a log.
I'm just going to point out that all of these are the elite, the tech elite, who you cannot buy this band. I tried. It's sold out. You all got it at South by Southwest.
Hello. That's because other people haven't synced yet.
These are all South by Southwesters. Look at that's good.
Yeah.
Kevin Rose, nothing. Daria, nothing.
That's because you have to sync. If you don't sync daily, then some of these daily stats mean a little bit less. Anyway, the FuelBand is not free. It's $150. The app, though, is, and I have to say, especially with the wireless sync that goes back and forth, this is such a fun, not a perfect science. I have issues with it. So watch that before you buy episode.
But no pedometer is, right? Because
not if you're going to, wear it and kind of forget that you're wearing it.
Right.
The whole idea is to just never take this off.
I agree.
And you end up racking up a bunch of numbers. But I do really like this. If you're interested, NikePlus.Nike.com. That's the FuelBand. The app is almost the best part of it, even though this thing is pretty cool. The app works really well. I liked the Jawbones app, the Jawbone Up. But this is better. They're different.
It had a social component, too, where people would challenge you, which I liked.
Yeah.
They would say, I challenge you to drink 8 glasses of water. And then you could record, in addition to all the other stuff, you could actually say on the app, yeah, I had a glass of water just now towards my 8. And so you could add additional features. I challenge you to run 5 miles today. And you could add those. So it wasn't just stuff you could record with the app. And I'm sure Nike will have something like that if they don't already.
Right, and I think the idea is to be able to incorporate this into a variety of apps. I mean, wouldn't it be nice if on Path, for example, you had your best day ever and you were able to share that?
And Path does do that.
With Nike, like with the running app, they do.
Can I show your run today? I have to ask permission. Because Path is kind of
Path is closed,
private
so it's
thing.
Nice
Don't show anything yet
ask.
because I don't want to show. Well, I've learned this. For a long time, I thought if Path is like public, and then I realized, People are sharing stuff just with their close friends, so I shouldn't probably show it on the air.
Some of it is very personal, I've noticed. I mean, you can send stuff from Path to Twitter to Facebook to...
I have a friend who records his drug abuse on Path, so it's, it's very personal.
Good grief.
I guess he wants to keep track of it. I don't...
Well, he'd probably forget otherwise because of the drugs. They tend to screw with your memory a little bit.
He's going to look back. But see, that's the point is because it's not Facebook. No employer is going to look at it. He's going to look back and say, boy, those were the days or those weren't the days. So here's an example. This is Tom Merritt's Path. And the Nike does this automatically. So he's got a Nike Plus and he's using it with his iPhone. And, you turn it on when you start on Path, you turn it on, and this is something that they've built in. You have to have a Nike Plus GPS, but that is pretty cool. I mean, I think that is a very interesting.
And I think services like Path will want to, have as much inner functionality with third-party apps. As possible. You don't want it to be busy and cluttered, but Facebook does this very well, where you can choose which apps are going to be posting to your wall and that sort of thing.
The idea of Path is that it's your path through life, so it makes sense that it would record these kinds of things. And
to a more limited audience.
Yeah.
To my 140-something friends, because I'm still not quite at 150, I'm talking about stuff that I'm not going to share with Twitter.
Right.
Because most of the people on Twitter don't know me well enough to care.
So Fitbit also has an app, and Fitbit's very similar to the Nike FuelBand. We mentioned Up. There's no point in mentioning it because if you don't have an Up band, you can't get it. Although somebody told me that Jawbone is planning to go back on the market with the Up. They're probably watching carefully to see how the Fuel does. They can't keep the Fuel in stock. There's an app that I've talked about before. You may remember had the Why Things scale. It's a British company that makes a scale that not only tweets your weight if you set it up, you don't have to set it up that way, but will also record it to their website. And there is an app, and this is the Why Things app that I really like. This is the iPad version. There's an iPhone and Android version. But it also, now I have the Why Things blood pressure monitor. It's just a standard blood cuff, but it goes to your iPad. You press the start on the iPad, records your blood pressure, and then adds this. It will actually, I'm tweeting on the same place I'm tweeting my weight, I'm tweeting my blood pressure. So people can watch me basically go downhill
I haven't seen anything from Leo's scale on Twitter in a while.
The scale, I moved, and the scale is no longer hooked up. So, I have to readjust it. But the blood pressure monitor, you should see my blood pressure. That's still doing its thing.
Okay.
And as you can see, I think this is the beginning of a whole category of telematics for health. And I'm very excited about this. I think it's only a matter... You watch, in 3 or 4 years, you'll have something, I don't know what it will be, that will be monitoring a lot of parameters in your body. And frankly, this is what I think many health professionals are coming to, is saying that health is needs to be very personalized. A lot of the recommendations we get currently, because it's all they can do, are very general, like don't eat salt or keep your cholesterol low. But if we could be more specific, well, you can eat salt, but you really shouldn't eat this or should eat that, then you could be much more healthful. You would you could act much more appropriately. But what we need is these feedback mechanisms, and that's what I think these, I'm going to call it, telematics is computers in cars, but I'm going to call it healthomatics. No, maybe not.
I like it.
Healthomatics?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Healthomatics.
What's nice is, especially with something like the scale, the blood pressure, I've never actually had to watch my blood pressure, so it's probably not a product I need yet.
Not yet, but you will.
But I might, yeah.
Most people do.
However, something like the scale, even though I might not be actively dieting, I've got a scale in my bathroom and I'm getting on it regularly and it's like, okay, I'm up a couple pounds or I'm down a couple pounds, and I know pretty much what my range is, but it would be nice to see the trend over a period of time.
Well, and you could see that right here. This is a graph from January 2010.
And I could have manually recorded all of that, but it wouldn't look like this.
It's really valuable. It should be. It's supposed to be. It's like it should be going this way. But anyway, same thing with my blood pressure.
That's because the Petaluma Pie Company keeps bringing us treats.
Blood pressure is a big one because blood pressure, one measurement isn't sufficient. It goes all over the place all throughout the day. So it's always a good idea to measure in a variety of situations and record what was going on, so you could see how stress impacts it, how a cup of coffee impacts it. So these things are getting very, very helpful. I think toward being more healthy. I think I would love to see blood sugar, CRP. There are lots of measurements that could be very valuable if you had that recorded in a database, and then imagine that your doctor can also check in and see and respond to you. I think this is a very exciting area.
Yeah, right now something like the FuelBand is still, it's kind of a fun novelty.
It's still in the novelty stage.
It definitely does. There is some accuracy, but not enough to say this is exactly how many calories I burned for sure. Again, it's not a perfect science. And it's actually getting kind of dirty because I keep showering with it and it's got soap on it.
Oh, you're allowed to, though? It's waterproof. Huh?
Yeah, it's, well, up to 3 feet. And it's like, I'm never really swimming.
Well, you're only like 4 feet tall. So as long as you keep your arm above your waist, you're probably fine.
But I'm fine, the next time I'm submersing myself in water for a long period of time. Here's a product that...
Look at this. We both used this last night.
Yes,
not the same one.
We did.
We were in separate beds.
We were not together last night. Let there be no mistake. Jason Applebaum from Hack5 actually dropped this by, and I said, "What are you doing with this? Why are you giving this to me?" And he actually,
let me show you how
I think I can tell the story. He works for a company that was bought by another company called Gear 4. Gear 4 makes products.
Now you could do this with an iPhone or an iPad.
That's right.
And you know, one of the things,
you got to be careful now.
I know, I don't want to mess it up. One of the things I really like about this is that as soon as I connected it, this is an alarm clock. It's at the time.
Yeah, it sets it to your iPad.
Love that.
You know how annoying it is to set alarm? You know, it's like when you're in a hotel.
Actually,
I don't even bother with them anymore.
I have the software on
Now,
this.
if you think, well, this is kind of a huge alarm clock, this actually works with an iPhone as well. But for our purposes...
Do you have your iPhone there?
I do.
We can use mine.
But I used it with my iPad.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, last night.
Okay, because I used it with my iPhone.
Which, I mean, that takes a lot less space, but it is iPad capable.
Well,
and actually, the app looks kind of cool on the iPad. The idea behind this is you go ahead and dock your iOS device, whatever it may be. You say, okay, I need to wake up at, if you know I can't wake up any earlier than 7:30, it'll say, okay, well, 7 to 7:30 is our range then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to track your REM sleep through the night using something that's almost similar to Doppler radar.
That's what he said.
Yeah, where you're laying next to it, you kind of set your frequency.
You put it on the bedside table so it can see you.
Yeah, that's correct. So it can't, your nightstand table can't be too high or too low. It kind of has to be,
and it monitors
so that you could
breathing, movement. Mm-hmm. So it
can tell the difference between humans and pets. Because I said I've got a human and 2 cats here with me.
It does the nearest human and no pets.
That's right. Yeah, it knows the difference, I guess, because the cats breathe faster or something. Yeah. And you set a range. So it says like, okay. When you're in deep, deep, deep sleep, those are the mornings when your alarm goes off, you're like, oh my gosh, I got 8 hours, but I'm so groggy, it's the worst. Other mornings you kind of wake up like, yeah, I'm ready to face the day. Well, I even have half an hour left to sleep. That's usually because you were in REM sleep and woke up on your own. So it wants to help you wake up in a better way. So what I did was...
This is something very similar, by the way. The Up Band did this. The Fitbit will do this if you put it in a band on your wrist. But they're monitoring physical movement using MotionX. This, because it's got Doppler radar in it, is watching you, literally watching you.
Yes.
And
move
and breathe. It sees your chest and move and breathe. And so look what you get. This is actually quite amazing.
So here's the interesting thing. I went to bed around midnight last night, a little later than I wanted to, but hey, that's the way it goes.
Now you do have to manually say, I'm going to sleep now.
Yes. Yes, you launch the app and you say, like, ready to sleep. You can also set a variety of how you'd like to wake up. You can use a radio. There's a built-in FM radio into the device itself. Obviously, it's not app-based. Or you can...
it has little wake-up sounds.
Bring in some music tracks if you like a particular song.
You'll play music from your iPhone or iPad.
And then it's got some default music tracks.
I liked the wake-up stuff. I had birdies.
I had tropical birds.
Tropical. It
was nice. And, mine started really, really slow to the point where I was dreaming about birds. And then I was like, oh, it's the alarm.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, because it was like a gentle progression. Up. I was like, gosh, there are a lot of, like, seagulls outside or something outside our window right now.
If this is, even if for no other reason, this is the best alarm clock I've ever had.
Oh, my gosh. And actually, the speakers are not bad. They kind of have a little stereo thing going on. So, and I'm sorry this isn't plugged in, but
I'll play. So you had rainforest in Australia.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
That's what Sarah woke up to this morning.
It's like you're in a little bird zoo.
Yeah.
Loved it.
I like this one.
That's also nice.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I love that.
Less rain, less.
There's also waves.
Precipitation. That's not waves.
If you wish you were in an ashram.
That's
in Kathmandu.
I think something like that. But let's look at my sleep activity, because this is the best part. All of this stuff is dependent on how I slept. So you can see, I went to bed at about midnight, and then it's like, well, there was some point, almost like close to 2 a.m., where all of a sudden I wasn't sleeping anymore. I was even awake. This lower stuff means I was in nice deep sleep, then you got REM, and then you got awake. You know what that was?
What?
Somebody coming home from the bar.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, woke me right up.
Uh-huh.
And the thing was...
Now you know exactly when that person came home.
And that's what I said. What time did you come home? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And I was like, liar!
The Doppler radar says.
The Doppler
Let's go to the Doppler radar.
Me. This is tech and it doesn't lie. But the thing was like at the time I remember being awake thinking, I wonder if this is all being recorded. Then I had sort of a sleepless night last night. I was up and down. I had a point for a good half hour between 4:30 and 5 where I was just restless.
This looks just like mine. So this is not an abnormal night, by the way.
No.
I mean,
you think,
I slept really solid, but really it's always up and down like that.
Yeah. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just good to know how your patterns are, and maybe there's something that's affecting you and sort of bringing you out of that deep sleep regularly that you can change if you don't feel well rested.
This is the same kind of technology that they use in sleep apnea studies. It's actually medically approved technology. Mm-hmm. And I think it's, it's informational only. I don't know if you could act upon it, but I guess you would, when, people came home from the bar.
I think it's more of if you've got sleep issues, you can start to pinpoint what it might be that's bringing you out of it. Is it when the garbage truck comes early in the morning?
Yeah, it's every morning at 5:30 I wake up. That's not good.
Yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah. By the way, this sleep clock, if you are interested, is not quite yet for sale.
It will be.
On their website. Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I didn't even know that. They don't have it.
Jason told me. He said he's pretty sure it's April 4th or 5th.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So, one thing is,
it's not cheap.
There's a couple things. Yeah, the first thing is it's going to be $200. $200 is an expensive alarm clock. Now, if you're a stats nerd and you want to track sleep, or if you've got sleep issues or what have you, or you just want a pretty cool alarm clock, it might be worth it to you. But again, you can get an alarm clock for quite a bit less. And you can do a lot of the stuff that this does, at least on the having custom ringtones and that sort of thing in apps that we've talked about on iPad a day in the past. The other thing is, as Leo noted, there is a bug in the software, which I'm sure they'll
fix by Wednesday,
fix by the time that they launch, because you didn't happen to record your sleep.
No, Jason told me, he said, you got to start it, stop it, start it again. He said, we know about it, we're fixing the bug.
Yeah.
I thought I did that, but it didn't record it. You can see, though, and this is important when you're setting it up, what it looks like. So you can see if it can see you. You see, she just has it on a bedside table.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly good place to have it. And I think over time you might find...
Look at her. She's like, look at it.
She's really fascinated by her
I'm really
sleeping.
starting to crunch these numbers in my beautiful apartment.
I have to say,
it's all made of windows.
All told, individually, none of these are very important. But if you tie all this together and we get more information, I believe we're in a brave new world, and it's just a few years off, where we know a lot about ourselves. We're, of course, all fascinated by it. But I think in toto, including exercise, diet, stress levels during the day, we'll be able to draw a picture of our health that will help us be healthier, I think.
Right. And I think the older you get, I know for me...
God.
Not getting enough sleep...
Wait till you're my age.
...will ruin my day.
Oh, yeah.
Now. It's like my number one priority.
Sleep gets harder and harder as you get older.
Yeah,
it really
does. Yeah, I can't sleep in anymore. And it's important for me to burn enough calories and all that good stuff. So these are at least a few ways that we've come up with. Some of the stuff you might have heard about from us in the past.
RenewSleepClock.com, by the way. RenewSleepClock.com.
Yes, thank you. Again, $200 from the folks at Gear 4. And thanks again to Jason from Hack 5 for coming by yesterday.
From Gear 4, who happens to be in our chat room today.
Hey, Victor. How's it going?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's nice.
Victor, fix that software bug. Now he's on it. All right, so for the links to the apps that we mentioned, if you didn't write anything down, don't worry about it. You can just visit us at twit.tv/IPT.
Yes, indeed.
That's where you can get all of the show notes, all of the apps we talk about, some of the products we talk about, like the Renew Sleep Clock. That's all there in our episode guides. This is also the place where you can subscribe to future shows and see us in the app caps that we wore last week. When we were young. Yeah. So subscribe. That's probably the best way to make sure that you don't miss a show. But if you can watch us live, you should. 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Thursdays. That's when we record our show live. Warts and all.
Yes.
Warts.
Warts and all.
How about them?
How about them?
Yeah.
You know, it might be time for me to do a commercial.
Okay.
Okay.
Since you're in the mood.
I am always in the mood for a commercial. Let me tell you something.
Something he likes more.
I love it. It's how we pay for this show, for crying out loud.
It's true.
And it is not a cheap show to do. That Chad is expensive.
He is.
In hair dye alone, thousands of dollars a year.
Highway robbery, dude.
GoToMyPC, my friends. It is the missing link between your iPad and your office computer. Link the two together. Here's what you do. In fact, you can do this right now for free for 30 days. Go to your office computer if you're at work right now, and whether it's a Mac or PC, visit GoToMyPC.com and sign up. You use that offer code iPad. You'll get 30 days, unlimited use, hours and hours, as much as you want. Now, the other side of this is to get the iPhone or the iPad app, because here's the deal. The next time you're headed for home and they call from work saying, we didn't get that email. Could you send that again? Or, hey, where's that PowerPoint you promised me? Or, what are those reports, those class/9K reports?
What in the heck?
Where are those reports? And you say, oh, gosh, and then now you have to turn around? No, you don't. You wait till you get home. You fire up your iPhone, your iPad, or if you're on the bus or a train, you just do it right there. And you can access your office computer. You can do anything you could do sitting in front of it, including send and receive email, run any program, access any network resource, get files, and you have full access securely. This is beautiful. 128-bit SSL. It's using NAT traversal, so you don't have to open ports in your firewall. You don't need help from IT or anything. It just works. I mean, really just works. It is really the best remote access product in the world. Visit GoToMyPC.com, find out more about it, and if you want to sign up, and I do encourage you to do that for Mac or PC, go to your office computer, sign up there, use the offer code iPad for 30 days free, and then get the free app on your iPad. You will love it. You see there?
I love it.
Awesome!
Go to my
Uses
PC.
the Retina display, by the way.
Oh, there you go.
Did you see this? I got my Liquipel.
What is it? Is it a... I wouldn't have any idea what a Liquipel is.
Yeah, well, we saw them at CES. Maybe you didn't remember.
It repels liquid.
That's exactly what it does.
Uh-huh.
It revolutionizes electronic protection. Our proprietary process applies nano-sized particles throughout the device to prevent damage from accidental water exposure. So here's the kit. They called us and they said, "Hey, would you like to Liquipel your phone?" You could do this with an iPad. You could do it with any electronic device.
Uh-huh.
Now, the first thing, I said, yeah, let's do it. The first thing you get is in here, this is, don't get it wet. What? It says, we don't recommend your device come in contact with any liquids. If it does, stop using it for 5 hours. Don't charge it for 24.
But.
Well, I don't know if that's their lawyers talking or if they don't have a lot of confidence. Because at the CES, they were dipping stuff.
Yeah, they were.
I got it done. Now, so here's my iPhone in the special patented Liquipel baggie. And I'm going to give this to you now.
Okay.
See, can you tell any difference at all? Does that seem like a Liquipelled iPhone?
Seriously?
Just like a regular iPhone, right?
Yes.
I have no... So apparently now...
Really?
There is a nano coating on there. You can't tell, right?
No.
Doesn't change its behavior in any way. You still dock it.
In fact, you even get the same amount of smudge.
It feels the same.
Sorry, I got your iPhone
That's all right.
smudgy.
Apparently, it's 1,000 times thinner than a human hair. It does not. That's why you can't tell it's on there. It does not affect look, feel, or performance. I'll vouch for that. It bonds on the molecular level, so it lasts forever, effectively. But I don't have the nerve to drop this in a bucket of water.
Well, they told you not to.
And that's kind of what took the nerve away.
Well, yeah, don't you
Liz,
think
would you get me a glass of water?
Leo, don't you think
this is my one and only iPhone?
This is more for like, ooh, the sprinklers went on while I was walking through the grass. Whoops, at least I have the Liquipel for these little emergency situations, not let's dunk the phone. I think you're about to be very foolish.
Somebody in the chat room saying it's like the Emperor's New Clothes. You cannot tell.
I don't even know if it exists.
You can't tell.
What about the headphone though? Because it's not covering the headphone jack.
Somebody said that what they did at CES is that they Liquipelled it. Did you hear that? The phone screamed.
Audible gasps.
They did it.
It's on.
It's on. They did it. Now they say don't turn it on, whatever you do, and they say all the things that you would say if it were not Liquipelled. We'll just take a chance, and there it is. Now that definitely shouldn't get wet. That's definitely not Liquipelled down there. We might want a paper towel.
We might explode the studio and spontaneously combust in
all over all that electronic gear.
3, 2,
anyway.
1. All right.
You know what? It's still operating. I dropped it in a glass of water. It's still completely fine. I did not follow their instructions. Just give us the whole roll. Yeah, just stuff it in that hole. Okay. There we go. There we go.
You know, you asked for it, and you got it.
You know, if the chat room says do something, Leo does it. So, actually, I have to say, I would not have done that with a normal iPhone, and I've never done that with a normal iPhone, so I don't know if I would have the same result.
Well,
maybe I could just do that.
I don't think... Well, okay, so I've only dropped one phone into, submerged my phone in water before. It was an accident.
Right.
But, I mean, it was dead.
It's dead.
It was dead.
So the fact that I was able to...
grabbed it right away.
So that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Really good sign.
No, it's still working. So we'll check later on.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I'll put it in this hole that we filled with water.
Okay.
And if the phone survives...
Then we know that we've got a winner. So I'm trying to look up Liquipel. If only we could Liquipel the rest of us. That would be great.
Swimmers should do this. God, I got it on the TV.
You really...
What happened there? Did I just kind of... I don't know what happened.
Ghost in the machine.
Yeah.
Always blame the ghost. Hey, how much is Liquipel if people are interested in buying
that was, Liz, you told me. I forgot. I think $60? $69.
$69.
It is, I mean, it's not going to be a case because, that's not good.
Uh-oh.
It was doing something.
Well, it might have just gone, I don't know. I think it's just saving battery life by going dark.
No, it was jumping around.
Well, while you play a little bit with your iPhone that
I don't want to lose my
wanted to sabotage for no reason, you didn't have to do this. You're very weird. This wasn't even in our lineup.
Oh, dear, this doesn't look good.
Okay. Well, I want to talk about...
No, it's still working. We'll watch for the rest of the show.
Called Pay with Square. Which is the former card case.
$59.
$59
is the standard, and then if you want it faster, $69. So actually, that's not bad.
All right. I'll note in our notes, starting at $59.
That's not bad.
Starts at $59.99. Card case.
Card case. I love card case.
I do too, and it has been renamed to Pay with Square, which makes sense. This is the company.
I went into Pete's Coffee today.
Yeah.
And they said, whatever happened to Tony Wang? He used to come in here all the time. I said, card case.
You lost him.
Acre has card case.
And probably the people at Pete's go, huh?
Huh? They have, you know what? This is funny. They have Google Wallet. So you could tap if you have NFC in a phone, you could tap your phone. Nobody has that. Everybody's got an Android or iPhone, can download the free card case app, and you're good to go.
No, of course, you're limited to the merchants who are also using.
Right.
And by the way, it's now called Pay with Square.
It's not card case, it's Pay with Square.
No, it has been
oh dear.
reimagined. And what's cool about it is some people don't really like the new logo. I don't really care about that. It doesn't really matter to me. But the whole idea is for anybody who we've talked about card case in the past,
There's still water coming out of my phone.
Well, you did this to yourself.
Yeah, it's still working though.
I don't really feel a lot of sympathy for you. The idea is that if you find a participating merchant,
which
Acre
is
Coffee,
where we go now instead of Pete's.
That's right. This is a really nice coffee shop that's right down the road from us.
Now, you don't have auto open tab, do you?
I don't, but I could open it. And the idea with this is what makes card case awesome. So when you auto open your tab, what it will now do, and this is you can do this on your iPad or your iPhone
or your Android phone,
is simply walk within 100 feet of the establishment. Geofencing will say, hey, I think you're going to go into Acre. This will launch. The people behind the counter at Acre will see your name and your face that you've chosen as your profile picture within the Square app. And you walk up right to the counter, and they go, what do you want? And you tell them, and they go, okay. And then you pay, and it gets you get a credit on your credit card
you even can
that
add
you've
a
set
tip,
up.
Which is really nice.
And you can even add a tip.
And what's really slick about it is you
no
feel
hands.
You
no
feel
wallet,
like
no nothing.
it's like you're going into Cheers.
Right.
And they go, hey, Leo, great to see you. Because they can see your picture, they see your face. And then and I have to say, we've all established rapport with people at Acre. We go there more because we don't, it's like you don't have to pay. You just walk in, take coffee, and leave. Of course, you are paying. It doesn't cost any more. They don't charge you extra for this.
Right.
I think this is amazing. And I think any merchant who should do this.
I think they have somewhere around, they're touting now 75,000 merchants. Now, a lot of them are concentrated in metropolitan areas. Of course, the Bay Area has a lot because Square is a Bay Area-based company. But the reason that we're talking about this again is not just because they changed the name, although the new name makes more sense because it has the word Square in it. By the way, Square also has software for the merchant side of things. That's how the merchant and the consumer talk to each other.
In fact, at Acre, they don't have cash registers. They have iPads.
Right.
Which is so cool. And this all shows up on the iPad as you walk in the door. I love the auto pay. I turn that on everywhere.
What's also nice is...
Although, the last time I was at Acre, she said, I see you all the time. What do you... And I realized, well, I actually walk by every day. So that is a negative. If you walk by the store, you show up on their cash. They don't charge you.
That's actually why I turned off, because I drive by there, but I don't always walk in. But I drive within 100 feet. So it's just like, I just don't want to confuse them. It's fine. Yeah. So you can manually open up your app. You still don't have to pay with any cash. That's great.
It's so cool.
But what's cool is, okay, I know about Acre Coffee, but I don't always have a lot of time to explore Petaluma.
Right.
But it is geolocating me based on where we are right now. So now I know that there's AK Subs, Be Real Espresso Inc., Grace and I can go, well, what's Grace and I? That's kind of interesting. I get more information. Oh, authentic Tershi vegetable preserved seasonal jams. Unique products, handcrafted in small batches. That's totally up my alley. I can see exactly what kind of items they have for sale.
There are new places using this every day in Petaluma.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
I got the menu. I know exactly what I want before I get there. I want those heirloom carrots. Darn it. And then if I were to be visiting regularly, I'll go back to Acre so you can actually see some activity. It'll say, well, here's when you were here already in the past. I got a couple French presses over the last month or two. So it's a little bit more information of like, oh, yeah, I have been to Acre. Yeah, right. Then they've got a little more information if you want to drop by or give them a call, that sort of thing. Pay with Square. It's the new card case, and it actually, for anybody who already has, and it's showing me merchants that are near me via the map.
It's really slick, I have to say.
If you already had Card Case downloaded, because we have talked about it on iPad a day before.
It just changes it automatically.
Yeah, it just changes the name. Yeah. But don't miss it, because there might be an app that you're all of a sudden like, oh, it looks really different. It does look really different. It acts similar, but they've changed the layout a little bit just for better discovery, because of course they want more merchants to get as much out of it as possible.
Well, and you can see what the incentive is for a merchant. There's discovery. People actually shift their brand loyalties just because you do this. Admittedly, not everybody, but everybody here at TWiT now goes to Acre Coffee. And the people at Pete's are saying, oh, you go to Starbucks still? Yeah. Why? Oh, because Lisa won't let her go to Acre because she doesn't have a card case. If she had a card case, bada bing, you either have an assistant or you have a card case. That's the key. It's like an assistant in your iPad.
I want to mention really quickly.
Sarah's going to cut that whole thing out, right? Aren't you?
It's okay. We're fine. Hey, it's a.
Where's that glass of water? I want to spill it into the equipment again.
It's a show with many characters. Some off-screen, some on, some with
wet,
buttery fingers.
Some dry.
I want to mention Mog really quickly. They came out with a really nice-looking iPad app.
So it was for first RDO, and that was all anybody used on the iPad because it was the only iPad native app. Now Mog, still no Spotify.
Still no Spotify. Although Spotify has more users by far than the other two combined.
I wish Spotify would just pay attention because this Mog app is fantastic. They have, they have artist radio. You're not a Mog subscriber, probably.
I'm not, and this is why I want to mention it. There's not much I can show you.
I can't.
Because this is the same for RDO, Spotify, and Mog. The way that they limit people is you have to pay to be to get stuff via mobile.
$4.99 on your desktop, but if you want to use it on your iPad, it's $10 a month, just like everybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. So and they have like a limited free option, I believe. I know Audio and Spotify
1 week free if you haven't signed
something
up
like that. Yeah. But the layout, from what I can see, looks really nice. I talk about Audio because it's like, well, I'm not really going to subscribe to more than one music streaming service at a time, but it's not because it's the only option. I just liked it because at least they could say, we've got the native iPad app and it looks awesome, which it does. Mog, they have a lot of fans as well, and their iPad app looks very different. So it's nice to have choices, and if you're already a Mog subscriber, definitely download this iPad app because it looks really good, and if you like their interface, then that's just a slam dunk.
I'm really happy that they've added it because Mog is a great service, but I'm just dying because they still haven't done it for Spotify, and I just hope this puts the pressure on Spotify. I'll stop playing Ben Folds 5.
It's all right. Songs for Silverman. That's a good album.
It's a great album.
Yeah.
By the way, if you like an artist, one of the nice things about Mog, they have artist radio, and there's a slider. So you play the artist radio, and then there's a little slider, I'll show you, that says, do you want just this artist, or do you want similar artists? And as you slide the slider...
Oh, that's so cool.
So it's kind of a Pandora-style radio station. But
Audio has something like that, too. Do you want just the artist, or do you also want to get some other similar artists? So
what's interesting,
lots of control.
They're all influencing each other, right?
Yeah.
So now Spotify, be influenced and get a gosh darn native app.
Like, competition is so good. This is such a good example of competition because it's such an emerging market. Yeah. In 5 years, this will all seem very old and antiquated. Okay, so Camera Awesome. We talked about this in the past. These are the SmugMug folks who made an app.
Do you use this or the native app?
What do you mean, the native app?
Well, the iPhone has its own camera app, but you could use this or Tap
Camera Plus.
Camera Plus from TapTap.
Or Instagram natively. I do not use the camera app on the iPad or the iPhone. I have so many other options.
Yeah.
Where the filters are built in, so I don't have to do importing later.
Exactly.
Not that there's anything wrong with the camera app itself, but it's very limited based on some of the other options that you have. Camera Awesome is, in many people's opinions, somewhat of a ripoff of Camera Plus, only, really because Camera Plus came first. Actually, wow.
It has some nice features.
That's kind of cool. Look at that.
Yeah, see, it rotates.
See, the camera rotates. Yeah, Not everything does, but it's kind of good enough.
Well, that's what you want because you don't want it to move around on the...
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So if I took a picture of this Harrods mug, which I did this morning, I'm going to do it like this because it looks sort of silly otherwise. So this is the mug I took. I'm glad I've used all my filters. I'm ready to export this. All right, well, here's the export button, and it gives me my options. I'm going to go ahead and export edited. Oh, wait, shoot. No, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to share.
Share, not export.
Here are my sharing options.
Okay, you got SmugMug, that figures.
You got SmugMug, because they make it. Right, Facebook, Twitter, Flickr, Picasa, Photobucket, email, Instagram.
That's new.
That's new. Sweet, let's do it.
What happens?
Instagram, yeah, I want to do that. Now, what it does is...
clever.
What it does is it tricks...
Instagram.
It's not actually, it's not like they're hacking anything. This is something that Instagram has told developers that they can do. It pretty much just dumps you into Instagram. Great. At this point, I could add yet another filter. But I have just imported a picture into Instagram. They've just made it a little bit easier.
So you'll have to have Instagram installed, and you have to be logged in and all of that.
Exactly. The thing is that over the last 24 hours, many articles have been written. Wow, Instagram integration now comes to Camera Awesome. Amazing. Last week, the big story was Hipstamatic and Instagram were actually using the official Instagram API to talk to each other, which is a big deal. Instagram hadn't done that with anybody before. So this is not that. This is what we showed off Trey Ratcliffe had figured out.
He did that too.
Like last year.
Right.
So this is not anything that's really earth-shattering. Instagram really only has one official deal with one company, and that's Hipstamatic. In fact, I'll show you.
This is why this is really Instagram's fault, if you're going to blame anybody, because they don't. While they do have an API, they don't let just anybody use it.
Well, Hipstamatic is their first official partnership.
So they made a deal with Hipstamatic.
They want to see how it works before they say, okay, all apps can use this.
That would be nice.
So this is how Hipstamatic differs. I took this picture of our rundown this morning. Hipstamatic is just absolutely wonderful app, by the way. It's $1.99, but if you are into like retro photography and not just like crappy filters, but actually pretending you have old school film and certain kinds of paper.
It's one of the original apps.
Yeah,
right? It's been around for a long time.
There's a lot going on with Hipstamatic. But if I want to go ahead and send this to Instagram, all right, and I say, yep, I'm going to send this to Instagram. Now, my Instagram comment is all happening still within the Hipstamatic interface. So this is the difference between an app like Camera Awesome saying, well, we'll just dump you into Instagram close enough.
This is fully integrated.
Everything happens here. I don't even visit Instagram. Right. I don't ever have to visit. And then it'll, add like the filters that I use unless I strip that information out in the tag equipment area. So those are, it's nice to know the differences. Sometimes headlines can be a little bit misleading about how apps are working with other apps. But I think it's safe to say that eventually Instagram's API will be working with a lot more services than Hipstamatic.
I hope so. I hope they're not. Instagram is strange because they still haven't done an Android version. They still don't have a web interface.
Yeah.
They're really focusing on one thing. Use the iPhone, or I guess iPad. They don't have a native iPad app either. Use the iPhone and take pictures with us and use us and stay in our universe.
Right.
The only thing they do allow is in the number of galleries like Inc. 361 and a few others that will read Instagram photos, but they still don't have a web interface. I mean, you can go to a single photo, but you can't see all of Sarah's pictures on Instagram.
I think for a while, the Instagram team, not that this was an excuse, but it's like, hey, we're only two guys. And then it's like, we're only 5 employees. I think they're up to about 12 now. They are totally building, they're trying to be
focused.
Yeah, slow and steady type of thing. Well, Android app is on the way.
They better hurry because I have something that may cause them some grief.
Some harm, some bruising.
Soon. And I'll show you at the end of the show, actually.
Cool. We got some feedback from our last show, which was episode 90. Mike Case on Twitter, wanted to weigh in with one of his suggestions for text-to-speech apps. He says, a few weeks ago, I got sick. I lost my voice. I needed something along those lines to communicate more easily. I found an app called Neopal from NeoSpeech, which is a free text-to-speech app, and it's extremely simple and effective. That's at neospeech.com. We had a couple suggestions last week. We were getting a couple suggestions live from our chatters. But this is Neopal. So if for any reason you're still looking for that perfect text-to-speech app, at least check this out because it is free. So thank you, Mike. We also got an email from Gary in Perth, Australia. And this is a very, very common question. It's something that people have a hard time wrapping their heads around because it doesn't make a lot of sense. And many of you with new iPads, if you're new to the ecosystem for the first time, you might be having this issue. In fact, Alex Gumpel's mom was having this issue. Gary says, I always watch the show, but not live as it's 3 a.m. my time. We forgive you for that. If the iPad is the post-PC world, why can we only subscribe to a podcast in iTunes from the computer? You can't subscribe directly from the iPad. What is up?
Only if you stick with Apple. And that's the answer. Because there are at least 2 that we know of really good iPad apps.
Yeah.
That let you subscribe and download without ever going to your computer.
Right. But
and
it's
I agree.
not
I
going
don't
through
understand
iTunes
why.
at all.
Now, the good news is if you use iTunes, you subscribe to a podcast on your desktop, and you turn on Wi-Fi syncing. When you come into the house, you don't have to connect your iPad.
Yes.
It will sync it up. But you still have to do that.
You still have to make that initial pairing.
So we have 2 that we recommend. I've been using one called Downcast. It's a
Love Downcast.
Great app for iPad. It's very specific to iPad. Has a lot of nice features. Easy to find podcasts. Easy to subscribe.
And this is, we should clarify, it's pulling from the iTunes podcast list.
It doesn't have to. It could pull from anywhere there is a podcast.
Right, but if he's interested in something from iTunes, remember that you don't have to subscribe via iTunes.
Right. Yeah, no. This you no longer need iTunes at all. You could subscribe to any podcast. If you know the podcast's address, you just add it by address. You could add it manually. You can search for podcasts, and I don't think that that's searching iTunes. I think that's just searching the internet for podcasts. Let's just search for TWiT and see what we find. It allows you to add podcasts to any list. Here's all our stuff. Let's add TWiT Photo. There's a good show. By the way, audio and video. If I subscribe, it will download the first episode, and it will automatically keep these downloaded. So that's Downcast. And then there's another one, which I really like, called Instacast.
That's correct. Instacast looks a little bit like Reader, if you're familiar with that RSS iPad app. Just in the way that the left-hand controls are. if I subscribe to This American Life, which of course is just an audio only, but this handles videos as well. Here is the, sort of the master. This is the podcast that I've subscribed to. Here are unplayed episodes. I've got something called Switch at Birth, To Baby Girl. Ooh, this looks really good. I'll go ahead and start it. It'll start playing. But you can have a variety of podcasts that you subscribe to. You can search for podcasts. You've got some kind of behind-the-scenes options, like exporting to Dropbox or even importing. You can review on iTunes straight, like a nice little one-click, which is, hey, we know how that is. It's really important to rate things if you feel passionately about something, whether it's good or bad on iTunes, because it really helps other people figure out if it's, worth their time and money. Instacast HD is the iPad app. So this is the optimized for iPad version, although you could run the regular old Instacast on your iPad just fine. In fact,
I like running the HD because I'm watching the videos. Right?
Yeah, that makes a big difference. Yeah. It just depends on what you're looking for. But both of those apps are totally key, and quite honestly, they make more sense to me than going through iTunes at all. Because I agree with you, Gary. When you go, you find a podcast, you're in iTunes, there's an iTunes app on the iPad, it's a native app, and you find a podcast and it's like, well, you can listen episode by episode, but where's the subscribe button? I really don't know why they make it as hard as they do.
Another nice feature, by the way, on Instacast is it supports AirPlay. So if you do want to watch iPad today and you press the AirPlay button, you can send it over to your Apple TV or any AirPlay device or your computer. I like that. I think more and more I want to see things AirPlayed.
Oh,
because that's just great. It makes your iPad your kind of your content holder that you then stream it to your big screen TV.
AirPlay is awesome.
Yay.
You just keep everything on your iPad and you just AirPlay it and then you delete it when you're done. Got a video from Judy. She sent us a video of her office setup and her very favorite case.
I'm going to show a couple things about my office setup. I use this lovely little book stand that you recommended in a very early show.
Oh.
It's handy because I can put the iPad in either way and have it charging. But when I'm traveling, I found this case that fits the new iPad. It's fantastic. It's from Targus. And the beauty of it is that it rotates.
Got a hole in it.
So that
I get it.
stand my iPad up
That's a pivot.
either in portrait mode or in landscape mode.
Oh, cool.
And I can, when I'm traveling, either have the camera exposed or rotate it and have it covered up. So, for example, when I was going through security and I knew this was in my bag going through the scanner, for whatever reason I didn't want the camera exposed. Or if I'm just carrying it around, I want to make sure it doesn't get hurt.
That's kind of cool.
If I want to carry it around and use the camera, I just flip it, and it works great. And this was like $60, I think, from Targus.
I got to order that.
Fantastic case. So thanks for all the great tips. I really appreciate the show.
Thanks, Judy. She's exactly right. It's called the Targus Versavu, Versavu rotating case, $59.99 at Targus.com.
Versaview, like vice versa. Versaview.
Versaview.
Not the Versavu. Versaview. You could ask for the Versavu.
The Targus Versavu.
That's the Italian version.
Por favor.
Per favore. Targus makes great stuff.
Yeah.
And by the way, can I just thank Judy? Everybody, if you want to be on this show, just send us a video.
Send us a video.
It's so great. You become a regular contributor on the show just by sending us a video.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Judy also, she sent us a longer video. I just condensed it into
She had a nice setup.
She did have a nice setup. She takes it very seriously, and she even had a cat photo, which is obviously a plus. She did note that she had recently taken her new iPad, LTE, to a day-long conference. She didn't have Wi-Fi capability. She said she was busy all day. She wasn't necessarily downloading, movies or anything, but she was looking up stuff and downloading a few apps here and there and had a lot of stuff open at a time and got through the whole day.
Somebody in the chat room is pointing out that the Versaview is one of a number of iPad cases that have the wrong polarity on the magnets. Have we talked about this on the show?
No,
I don't think
we
so.
haven't.
Yeah. So this is something Apple never told anybody. But if you want the smart cover functionality, when you lift the cover, it turns on. When you close the cover, it turns off. The magnet has to be with the North Pole one way, the South Pole the other way. You flip it around, it would still work on the iPad 2, but it won't work on the iPad 3. So we're finding a number of cases where the smart functionality doesn't work because their magnet is the wrong polarity. Now that everybody knows that, all future cases, of course, will be fixed.
Now, are you saying between the iPad 2 and the new iPad, things changed?
Yes.
So why does my smart cover still work?
Because Apple made it, and they knew. It's the third party. See, Apple never told third parties, oh, by the way.
But if the smart cover didn't change and the new iPad did.
Because the smart cover has the correct polarity. It only breaks it if a cover has the wrong polarity.
It's just not something that they told people.
The iPad 2 didn't care about the polarity. The iPad 3 does. It's something Apple never told anybody. Oh, watch your polarity. And it's a little mystery to me why Apple changed it. It may well be that they
say, hey, third-party people.
They kind of,
screw you.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's really what
well, I don't understand what happened. Maybe Apple will explain this. We have a further explanation, by the way, about the battery charge issue that we talked about last week.
What is it?
So we mentioned last week that the guy who runs DisplayMate figured out that if you keep your iPad plugged in for an extra hour, it keeps charging.
After it already says 100%.
After it already says 100%. Apple respond. They told Ina Fried and All Things D. They forgot to tell us, but that's okay. We read Ina's column.
I think it's Ina.
Ina?
Yeah.
You say Ina, I say Ina.
Ina. Let's call the whole thing off.
Okay, goodbye. No, Ina says that Apple told her, no, you misunderstood what's going on. This is intentional. And others do this. I think Lenovo does this as well. In order to keep the battery kind of working, when it reaches 100%, it turns off the charge, it lets the battery drop down a little bit, and then recharges it. On, off, on, off. So what people have been observing is this behavior and thinking, oh, the iPad is continuing to charge. It's not. This is normal behavior. It does not need to be plugged in anymore after it says 100%. It is 100%. But it does, in fact, turn off the charging at 100%, let it drop down, and charge again. So there is more charging going on, and that's what he was observing. Remember, he plugged in a device that said, well, it's 100% and it's still charging. Yeah, that's Apple's intentional behavior. Others do this as well. So the bottom line is you don't need to keep your iPad plugged in for another hour after 100%. It's fully charged at 100%.
Got it. It's good to know, and not surprising that it was confusing to
Apple
people.
is not super communicative, as we have learned from both those stories.
That's quite true. Yeah. Reminder that we want to hear from all of you. Judy sent us a video. Judy, you rock. There were other videos, by the way, that were sent. We just have a crazy inbox, so if we didn't get to yours, I will absolutely try to get to them next week. Voicemails are great, too. 757-504-IPAD is our Google Voice number. Or you can write us an email, because we'll take those, too. We're also looking at comments in all of our show episodes at twit.tv/IPT. Every episode page at the bottom has a comment area to have discussions, so I'm looking through that stuff, too. There are a lot of places to make sure that we're reading all of your feedback, but we're doing it. iPad Today at twit.tv is our email address. And if you send us a video, remember to upload it somewhere and then send us the link, because we're not going to open attachments. Thank you in advance.
Yes, we appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a little break, but let's, before we go on, get our hats ready. And do we have hats?
I think you have to give me one.
I will give you a hat. Don't look, anybody.
Don't look. It's a surprise.
This is the passing of the hat.
The passing of the hat.
You already won that one. I don't like any of these hats.
Well, you can just chill. Read your commercial.
I'm watching TV, you know.
No, that's impossible.
No, I am. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
No,
I am watching TV.
This is our show. It's not like we have a cable.
Slingbox. The Slingbox. Yes. So here's the deal. If you go to slingbox.com/twit, you can learn more about this. You'll see all the different things that I can do on the Slingbox. I can... something's wrong with our Dish network. Well, oh well. I guess I have to pay the bill. You know, you learn all sorts of things.
That is something you need to do.
Yes, you learn all sorts of things when you use your Slingbox. Slingbox allows me, and I'll go to high quality here. I can go look at my DVR, and maybe there's something on the DVR I can show. Here's what you do. You get a Slingbox. Go to high quality. Thank you. We can see that message that you haven't paid your bill in full high def.
Great.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. You connect it to your everything, to your dish, to your satellite, to your DirecTV, to your TiVo, to your cable box, to all that stuff. Your receiver's off. Oh, no wonder. Oh, okay. That's silly. I turned the receiver off before I left home. Anyway, there you go. See like that? He's fast forwarding through his DVR through the Slingbox app on the iPad. So once you set up the Slingbox on your home theater system, then hit the road, and anywhere you go, you can see your home screen. You can see, there's the DVR. There's all the contents of the DVR. Let's see, let's put on CNN. How about that? I've got my my cable guide here, my channel guide, so I know what channels I'm watching. Here, go to slingbox.com/twit, read about it, then go to Amazon or Best Buy and pick up a Slingbox, hook it up to all the devices in your home system, hook it up to your internet, then hit the road, and you can watch your home TV system, not just on your iPad, by the way, your iPhone, your Android phone, your Android tablet, your computer, all sorts of devices, but it really is awesome on the iPad. It turns your iPad into really what it was meant to be, I think, which is a personal television. Slingbox.com/twit. Okay, your receiver's currently off. I think I can do that from here. I can turn my receiver on. Oh, well,
I'll
do that
rad.
later.
Well, while you're figuring out that, I thought I would go to the rodeo with a new app that I love.
Me too. I'm going to go to the rodeo too. How do you like my cowboy hat?
You look a little more Kentucky Derby than rodeo right now, but I like it anyway.
All right.
It's very nice. By the way, before we get going...
Yes, we were just handed this urgent message.
Urgent message from Jason at Hack5, who happened to give us these lovely sleep clocks. There's a sleep clock discount for TWiT viewers. Listen up. us.gear4.com. Enter the code holidays20 and you get 20% off.
For the holidays. Apparently it's a holiday in Great Britain right now.
Well, I think it might have been a carryover from a holiday
special. Okay, good.
For sleep clock discount. I'm not sure if there's a limited number in this offer.
Just
but
do it.
You guys go. See, that's another perk of watching live, because by the time you're watching after the fact, there might not be any left.
Who knows?
Thank you so much to the folks at Gear4. We love specials. Okay, moving on to my app cat. By the way, this is the part of the show where Leo and I wear hats and talk about the apps we like the most over the last week, because there are many. And, you know,
it's hard to pick just one.
It is. Now you're sort of like a Yankee Clipper on drugs. Good look.
I'm not doing anything. I think I should have had this hat Liquipelled.
Yeah.
By the way, stay tuned. Before the end of the show, I'll see if my phone's still working. People want to know, and I don't know.
Awesome. So this is an app called Paper. I know some of you were hoping we were going to talk
I've heard about Paper, and then you can use a pencil with that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting.
You can use, well, here's the thing, is that when you first sort of play around with this app, you're like, okay, well, it's like a sketchy app type of a thing. Okay, it's where you can jot down ideas. The whole idea is to draw, not to type. And they will give you a variety of tools.
They got a lot of nerve naming an app Paper.
Well, hey, nobody else had. By the way, when you search for it in the App Store, search for Paper by FiftyThree. That's spelled out.
Oh, so there are other
50,
papers.
The word 3. Well, there isn't anything called Paper specifically, but you won't find it necessarily.
That's the one.
That's it. Paper by FiftyThree. That's the name of the company.
Do?
Well, the name, what it does is, okay, so here I am in my most, here, let me go back to, I'll go back to the main control. So these are, this is my, this is actually the tutorial. It's kind of a neat little tutorial. It tells you all about how the app works in a very sketchy book type of a
That's cool.
Here's an idea book. By the way, I can make as many books as I like. Oh. And now here's my sketches book. Now, by default...
Hey, there's a note to me.
Hey, Leah, what up? I know I wrote that because I knew I was going to be sitting next to you.
Oh.
If I was to... how do I get my tools? Oh, boy. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong.
You know, that's often the case where you'd have to be in, you have to be in the right mode or something.
Well, here's the thing: is like this is almost like a calligraphy type pen. You know, if you slash quickly, it's kind of thick.
Ooh,
now, if you
how could it know?
Because it can tell by your touch.
Oh, wow!
If you go a lot more slowly, it gets thinner.
Yeah,
it's really neat. Now, I have no idea why my controls aren't showing up. Maybe just because I'm a big dummy, or maybe it's because I already said that I was done. Is anyone in?
I have to say, it feels nice the way it.
Oh, this is really.
Doesn't it feel good?
It's lovely. Oh, swipe up. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. The chat room.
Oh gosh,
knows.
see, I'm just a big dummy. All right, so let me do that again so you can see.
Up from the bottom.
Swipe up for tools.
Oh, it's just like a BlackBerry playbook.
That's right. I guess I wouldn't know.
Yeah, that's how
I'll
that
take your word for it.
Yeah.
So this is the sort of calligraphy tool that comes with the program. The program, by the way, is free to download. Then you also have an eraser tool. All of the rest of these are $1.99 each to add to. Okay, you know what? All I'm trying to do is talk about this really rad app. You just want to take the thunder, and that's fine because I can deal with that. So there's a sketch tool that you can buy for $1.99. That's fine. There's a nice outline tool. This is just kind of depending on what you like to sketch. I went ahead and bought this tool here, which is more of like it's kind of like a fine
so it's a free app, but then
pen.
there's in-app purchases.
They have in-app purchases, and then you have a variety of colors that you can play with. The idea behind this is you might say, well, I don't know, what do I need this for? The thing that's different about this app is it does a few things differently. Like, not only are these tools really kind of beautiful, and they're even with my finger, and I'm sure that this would be much better with a stylus. You get the sense that, like,
you feel like
wow.
it's a stylus, though. You don't really, you know.
Well, but I mean, even a stylus would have a little bit more precision, or you just feel a little bit more comfortable. I'm not even right-handed, so I mean, obviously I can't do anything with my right hand. But how about...
Wait a minute, you're left-handed?
I am. You know that.
Why do we have you with the right hand on the thing?
Because with apps, it doesn't really matter, because I'm not doing a lot of artwork.
After 91 episodes, I should have known.
Doesn't matter. Well, actually, it used to be left hand when we were in the old studio.
In the old place
it
was.
Anymore.
Okay.
It's fine, whatever.
Right.
But if I want to go ahead and undo, I do have the eraser tool, so I could undo, something specific, or I can go ahead and rewind.
It's funny, we're both lefties.
Yes, and we've talked about this many times in the past.
Really?
Yeah. You go ahead and, whoops.
I've forgotten.
I'm still trying to get used to this. You go ahead and it's
What's
two
it doing?
two fingers counterclockwise.
What are you doing?
What's
it doing?
I'm rewinding.
What are you doing? Oh, you're rewinding it.
Yeah, it's because my iPad is so freaking covered in
You didn't get it wet, did you?
I didn't get it wet, but it's just...
Don't ever get it wet.
It's too fingerprinty. But that's a very interesting little, way of going back in time I've never seen before on any other app. So the idea behind this is it's supposed to be simple, ways to sketch out ideas. There are very simple sharing options, not too crazy, but a lot of people, I think, get really overwhelmed by notation apps where you're just like, I want to save it to all these different places and iDisk and blah. I don't really want to do any of that. I kind of just want to write stuff down on the fly. That's what this is good for. Now, why paper is getting a lot of attention is some of the FiftyThree team, this is the company behind Paper, worked on the Courier at
interesting.
Microsoft. Now, this is, of course, a project that never came to fruition. It was canceled in 2010.
Microsoft decided, Jay Allard was running it, and Microsoft decided not to do it because they were going to do Windows 8, and they were going to do their own tablet stuff.
Right.
And so they killed Courier, even though we had already seen a demo video, and we were all very excited about it. So that team's gone on, and it's funny that there are 2 apps at least now in the App Store that just came out.
Tapose.
And Tapose.
Which is backed by Jay Allard.
Right.
At least in part. It was also a Kickstarter project.
Yeah.
That one I also checked out, and many of you wrote in to...
Yeah, we got a lot of email on that.
Yeah, to suggest it. I feel like it needs a little work, but we'll definitely be playing around with it. I assume it just came out. So this app, I feel like, is simple and beautiful. The Tapose app is a little bit more almost trying to recreate the Courier with a multi-screen.
It looks kind of like a Courier, and it's kind of it's a little difficult to understand how to use it.
I say save it because I don't want to recommend anything that's not quite ready yet. But I do want to recommend Paper. Again, it's free. You at least get that initial tool. If it's the right thing for you, then you can buy additional tools. And that's my app cap. Leah, what's yours?
Well, I want to hurry along because I got a JetBlue plane to fly in a second. But before I do that, I want to show you, I think, what is one of the most exciting...
Ha, ha, ha. Thank goodness they all got to ground safely so you could make that joke.
It's nothing to laugh about.
So you could make
Mental
that
illness
joke.
Is nothing to laugh about.
What's your app cap?
I feel like Minnie Pearl. I forgot to take the tag off.
You look like her, too.
Yeah. So...
what's your app cap?
This is, okay, I am the only person using this right now. I showed it to you, you wouldn't use it.
That's not true. I haven't even seen it yet. I wanted to save it for the show.
Oh, you want to save it for the show?
Yeah.
Okay.
I want you to tell me about it.
When I found this, it blew me away. And somebody asked me, where'd you find this? And I cannot remember. It might have been a press release. It might be somebody emailed me. If you did, I apologize for not giving you credit. You deserve credit. This is exciting. EyeEm. I showed it on yesterday on Twig because it's an Android app that is at parity with the iPhone app, and that's great for Android users. This is an Instagram. They're going right after Instagram, right after, in some ways, Path. It is an amazing photography app. Now, you notice it's iPhone only, but I think they do a nice job, and I think it looks fine on the iPad. The idea is, and I'll just do it right now. So this is EyeEm. I'm launching it. This is, if you look at it, it looks a little bit like Instagram. If you look at my account, there's following, followers. there's something new called albums, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I think the UI on this is spectacular, but let me start by taking a picture. So I'm going to take a picture using the front-facing camera, so let's just do that real quickly. And turn that camera around, boys. There we go. And now, can you see it? Or you're showing me, but am I in the way? All right.
It's okay. You can just, they know what you're doing.
Yeah. You get the idea. So I'm going to take a picture. That's a terrible picture, but we'll use that. Now, a couple of things that I like about this. It has Instagram-style filters, but one way, and you can do the same thing that you do on Instagram by choosing the filter there, but you can also swipe through the filters.
Oh, that's awesome.
Which gives you an immediate kind of look at what the different looks are going to be.
And that's just fun.
It has more, I would say it has more black and white filters, better black and white filters. It has some very interesting varieties here. It also has borders, and you do the same thing. You could choose the border, and when you get the border chosen, there's quite a few borders. You can, and borders, by the way, can include textures. Then you can swipe through within a border till you get it just so.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think that's a great picture.
It's one of your best.
It couldn't be better. So let's check that. Now, watch what happens. First of all, unlike Instagram, immediately saves it to your camera roll, which I like because I like to have things on my camera roll. Now, notice there's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Tumblr, there's Flickr, and there's Foursquare. You can co-share to everyone. It does have location, but if I don't like the location, there's no typing involved. Watch, I'll tap it. It'll say, oh, you mean, were you at Master Control? No. Are you at the TNT set?
Oh,
no.
That's cool.
And it finally says, okay, well, where are you? And it shows me all the different places I could be in this area. I'm going to say, yeah, no, I am at the Brick House Studios. Now, here's fun. What are you doing? Well, the activity is going to be an album. I could choose from some that are already in here, having fun, quality time, shaking hips, laughing, playing, performing. I've used performing before. You also have self-portraiture, things like that. Let's say relaxing, because I look pretty relaxed in that. And I'm going to also upload this to my Facebook page, my Flickr page, and Foursquare, because I'm doing a check-in, and upload. And so that is very much like Instagram to this point, except I think with a slicker user interface. Now notice, though, unlike Instagram, I couldn't write a paragraph of comment there. There's no writing now, but people can comment on it later. I have selected an activity which is an album. And if I browse through, you can see quite a few albums. So these are the other pictures of performing. These are relaxing. And not just me, by the way. There's 714 people have posted in relaxing.
So it's like hashtags on Instagram,
it is.
But it's a little bit nicer.
It is. And you even have around you. So I could say, well, let me see some of the EyeEm pictures in my area, and it'll pull up pictures in this area. It has the same, it's a little slow right now. See, every time I show this, people download it, and it kills their servers.
Right.
I tweeted them, I said, I'm going to show people. They said, bring them on. And this is what happened. So I can't show you anymore. You get the idea. After everybody's done downloading, it shows you notifications. You can follow people. People can follow you. It shows you whether they liked you. I think the UI is very nice. I think it's better, slicker than Instagram. It's path style in some ways.
And it's Android friendly as well as iOS.
The Android version.
I know this is an iOS-based show, but we like it when everyone can participate.
And so there's two things that Instagram doesn't have. It has Android, but it also has a web page. If you go to EyeEm.com, all of the functionality is there. You can browse albums. You can see what people are doing. And I never understood why Instagram didn't do that. I guess they really wanted to focus on the mobile space. This gives you everything. So the community is young. It's brand new. As you can see, every time I show this, it just literally crashes the servers.
And by the way, it's EyeEm as in I-M, not like Will I Am.
We did it again.
Sorry.
Here's the popular. It's sort of working. People are using it for black and white a lot, and there's some just really good photographers on here. This is from the popular page. I am very impressed. I think it's a German company. So some of these pictures are from a lot of these pictures are from all over around the world. These are pictures that were taken nearby, mostly by me, because nobody else is using it in this area. That's why I want you to join soon. EyeEm. I am really fond of this.
Free app, and even though I'm a huge Instagram fan, I'm very happy with Instagram. It's nice for Instagram to have somebody kind of at their coattails, right? Instagram has had such a colossal growth in such a short amount of time because it's a good app, but also because people are like, yay, I want this, and I can't find it anywhere else. So now, with something like EyeEm, Instagram folks can say, oh, that's interesting the way that they're doing this. Now we have an incentive to keep up.
This is on their webpage. This is the kind of stuff that Instagram could have done but still has declined to do. And I am very excited. I really think this is a very hot application.
This is really great.
They've done a nice
I love
job.
your app cap this week.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to be
I
on
always
this.
say that, but I actually mean it.
I'm going to be on. Yeah, you lie all the time. I'm going to be on this more than. I'm sorry, Path. I'm a big Path fan, but I'm going to be using this instead of Instagram and Path for the next few weeks. Now, but the real question is, will I be using my iPhone?
I don't know, but you better look quick.
Let's see. Are we out of time?
Pretty much.
Will it turn on?
Uh-oh.
I killed it.
Oh.
It's not turning on.
Oh.
So our review is in on Liquipel.
Do not dunk.
No, you could do it. Just don't get your phone wet afterwards.
Yeah. Well, don't submerge. I mean, that was dumb. You did it to yourself.
It's not dumb.
Yes, it is.
It's a review.
Okay.
But now I'm really sad.
Yeah, exactly. Wait a brick. It's a water brick. Actually, you can put it in rice for like a week and it might come back to life. That's actually something that other people have done in the past with some success. That's it for this edition of iPad Today. Ending on a happy note. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Remember that we're live on Thursdays, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, 4:30 p.m. Eastern. Leo and I make donkeys of ourselves week after week for you.
This is how I feel about Liquipel.
Well, say goodbye, Leo.
Goodbye, Leo.
Ow.